Okay, I'm back. A short nap turned into a long nap. Oh dear. Thankfully for me, and very likely the majority of the class, Mr. Honda was off sick today. If I had foresight to know that would be the case, I could have at least tidied the essay up a bit. Oh well, I can't rewrite the past now, can I? I make my way up to a nearby vending machine. I'm a little thirsty, and since we got let out a little earlier than normal, I still got a little time before club starts. I put my coins in, and a small can comes out soon after. As I'm reaching down for my drink, though, I can hear the echoed sounds of someone yelling. Whoever it is, they don't sound pissed off. Well, they kinda do. It sounds more defensive than anything. At the same time, I can't shake this weird feeling that the voice sounds familiar. I look to my left, and the reason for that familiar feeling comes walking quickly down the hall. Natsuki? Natsuki's eyes meet mine for a brief moment. All of a sudden, she averts her eyes and clenches them shut as she runs past me and audibly bolts upstairs. Natsuki, wait! I rush up after her. I can't help but wonder what happened to Natsuki that could have made her this upset. I call out for help. Or call out for her, rather. Natsuki! Natsuki, where are you? After a minute or so, I see her emerge from the restroom and quicken my pace. Natsuki,
Give me some fucking space!
Natsuki's voice came out as more of a squeak as tears form on her face. There's an awkward, weirdly heavy silence between us. Her brash reaction did catch my by surprise. Although, in her defense, I wasn't going about this well in the slightest.
Sorry.
Natsuki, what for?
I'm having a bad day, and I'm taking that out on you. I don't mean to.
More silence. Natsuki then gives out a long sigh.
I'm the worst.
That's a little much, isn't it?
No, not when it's true.
But it's not. Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Her glistening pink eyes tell multiple stories. The two ones I can make out the clearest are ones of guilt and of someone who just wants to be valued. The second one being a side I never would have expected, if that is the case, that is. We all have bad days, some of us more than others. But those bad days don't define you. I sigh as I think of something else to say. Besides, I know you didn't mean it. Why else would you be apologizing? Natsuki looks away for a moment, processing what I said. If you need a moment, that's fine. I've been there before. Natsuki breathes slow and calmly before locking her eyes back onto my own.
I think I needed to hear that. So, thank you.
Natsuki gives me a small but meaningful smile. It's no problem, really. The pair of us then walk the remainder of the way to the clubroom. Upon entering the clubroom, Natsuki makes her way over to a closet. I decide to go up to Monika.
Hey, Callie.
Hey, Monika. Sorry we're late. I look behind me and see Natsuki's already reading her manga. Should I tell her what happened? I look back to Monika and lower my voice. I bumped into Natsuki on my way up, and I guess we'd lost track of time. I feel bad about lying to her, but I wouldn't feel right if I told her exactly why we took as long as we did. I'm certain that Natsuki would tell her at some point.
Aw, Hallie, you don't need to apologize. Besides, neither of you missed much.
I have a peek at the clock on the other side of the room. I've only been shy of 5 minutes since the start of the meeting, so she does have a point.
Also, I've read the poem you gave me at lunch. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed.
Thanks. Say, how many times have you read it?
Maybe once or twice. Maybe more than that.
How she manages to be so cute without even trying astounds me to this day. She then takes my poem out of her bag and passes it to me. Before I can put it in my pocket, yeah, I read that right. Monika delicately holds the lower edge of the paper, and I swear I feel her thumbs brush against mine for a split second.
I look forward to discussing it with you.
She lets go of the paper, and I slide it back into my pocket. We end up just standing in front of each other for a little while longer. We don't say anything, but just make the odd glance and smile at each other. Whilst it feels like something out of a tacky romance game, I can't help but admit that it feels nice. So, I'm just gonna chat with Natsuki now.
Okay.
She speaks with a blush and a nervous giggle. To be completely honest to myself, my face is just as red as hers, if not more so. I end up taking a seat close to Natsuki, trying as hard as I can to hide my face. A part of me knows that if Natsuki saw me like this, I'd never hear the end of it. I even have a sneaking suspicion that Yuri would ask questions. And then, as if life was out to prove me wrong, I hear a voice whisper to me.
You're doing a piss-poor job at hiding how red you are, you know.
I open my eyes and am greeted by Natsuki wearing a wide grin. What? What are you on about, Natsuki?
You know damn well what.
How she's able to keep her voice this low whilst keeping the same assertive punch as normal is astounding. Natsuki cops the seat next to mine.
There are tomatoes that wish they were as red as you are right now. Like I saw you two over there holding hands. I was kinda tempted to tell you to get a room.
No! I try to keep my voice as low as hers as I look around the club room. Yuri's eyes have not left a page of her book, and luckily for me, Monika seems to be wearing earphones.
Well, it sure looked like it.
But we were just talking. I can't let her know about mine and Monika's little meeting on the roof. If she's already got the wrong idea now, God only knows what she'd think we were doing up there.
You're saying that like I'd be jealous if you were. I meant it was kinda cute.
Well, at least she... Wait, what did she just say? Did you just...
I did, yeah. You don't need to go announcing it to the world.
Sorry. There's a minute or two of awkward silence. Is that because of what Natsuki said? I'm not entirely sure. In hopes to brighten the mood, I glance over to the cover of the volume of manga in front of Natsuki. Parfait Girls?
If you want to judge, do it through the glass on that door.
She points over to the door. You say that like you'd throw me through it.
Well, fuck around and find out.
I'll pass. We share a laugh at my avoided expense.
Okay, everyone. It's time to share poems.
Monika eventually announces to the room, giving us our cue. After fetching my poem from my pocket, I quickly make my way towards Monika. I had already promised her that we'd discuss my poem when we had the chance. Hell, she's even looking forward to it.
Hey, Hallie.
I smile and wave. Hey, you want to discuss my poem?
Of course.
I pass the sheet to her and she reads through one final time. Eventually, she gently lays the paper on top of the desk.
Seriously, your use of imagery here is even better than yesterday's. Are you sure you haven't written poetry before?
Surely it's not that good of a poem. I'm sure, don't worry. Besides, do I look like the kind of guy that writes poetry in his spare time? That last part seems to cause Monika to giggle a bit.
Now that you mention it, do you?
Nah. Besides, even if I did, it wouldn't be as good as yours.
Oh, stop. You flatter me too much, you know.
I mean, it isn't necessarily flattery if it's true to some degree. It's nothing. Silence then falls over the pair of us. I don't think we've discussed the poem as much as we'd expected. Monika does try to say something about it, break the silence, to break the silence, but she stops herself each time. It's almost like she's trying to either find the right way to say it, or she's trying to suppress her thoughts altogether. Could I read your poem now?
Please do.
Monika hands me her notebook and I start to read. Today's poem is nowhere near as abstract as yesterday's, the subject emboldened clearly in the poem's title. The Lady Who Knows Everything. The more I read into it, though, the more the themes of seeking the impossible start to stick out, much like yesterday's work. Whereas her first poem was from the perspective of someone being held to those heightened standards, this one seems to be focused on finding that apparent legend, only for said person's expectations to be all for nothing.
Well, I know it's basically the same as yesterday's. I just wanted to explore it from another angle.
Monika's voice breaks my concentration. I hand her back her notebook. Regardless if it's the same topic, it still came out nice. There's nothing inherently wrong with exploring familiar ground. I'd say the hardest part would be writing from the mindset of somebody else, but you did that nicely as well.
Thanks.
Her voice trails off, lacking the confidence she'd usually display. She doesn't seem bothered by my words, though. She seems to be thinking about it. She sighs gently.
I'd say that doing this has helped me explore myself a bit more.
It does?
For me, yeah. Put it this way. Imagine your mind is a long hallway with doors scattered around the place. Those doors represent your thoughts. There's many rooms to explore, but the doors look the same. But once you have a peek inside, the rooms are limitless and you'll get lost in your thoughts.
That's actually the wrong sense of peak.
Poetry for me helps to narrow in on those rooms and explore them a bit.
Fucking hell, that got deep. Damn, that was quite poetic. You never cease to amaze me. Did I seriously just say that?
I...
Yep, good going, dickhead. My words aren't lost on Monica as she goes a deep shade of crimson.
Same goes for you.
Now it's my turn to blush again. We remain silent for another moment or two. The air is tense in a way that I can't fully describe. Just what is this feeling? I look down at the table and notice our hands are a bit closer than before. My eyes dart back up to meet Monica's own. The blush on her cheeks grows, but neither her smile nor the spark in those emerald green orbs falter. That is until...
Monica, could I share my poem with you now, or are you?
Yuri's soft eyes loaned on mine and Monica's hands, curiosity taking over her voice.
Busy.
Monica looks at Yuri and then follows her gaze down to the table. She quickly retracts her hand and looks away, her face completely red. Lost for words, I pick up my poem and make my way over to Natsuki. I feel awful. Why did I say that? I doubt this will be something either of us want to bring up. I close my eyes and sigh to myself.
Premarital hand-holding. And in public, no less. For shame, Hallie, for shame.
The sound of Natsuki berating me causes my eyes to shoot open.
I always figured you were probably a perv, but not Monica.
No, Natsuki, it's not like that.
Don't worry. Your indecency is safe with me, lover boy.
I hide my face against the table. She's not helping at all. I know she's joking, but still. I raise my head with a cocky smile and lowered voice. It best be, else I'll tell Monica about your little hentai collection.
I don't have a hentai collection.
Don't worry, your indecency is safe with me. Natsuki looks about ready to chokeslam me. It'd be funny if she wasn't fully capable of doing so. She relents for a sigh.
Let's just get this over with.
Despite Natsuki's jokes, sharing with her went pretty well. Sharing with Yuri went okay. She seemed a bit awkward and fidgety, more so than usual. And then again, she still probably had me and Monica on her mind. Probably just a bit of curiosity. Eventually, Monica calls us out to the front. Myself, Natsuki, and Yuri make our way there. Natsuki is the first to speak up.
Is this about the festival? It is, yeah. Do we have to do anything for the festival? I'm still curious as to what we're going to be doing. Oh, about that.
Monica then turns her attention to me.
Hallie, there's one of the posters that Sayori helped me with the other day on the front desk. Do you mind showing it to Natsuki and Yuri?
I nod and quickly retrieve the poster, which proudly advertises a poetry performance. It sounds like a fairly normal activity for a club such as this. I'm just curious how Natsuki and Yuri will react to this. I show the rest of the group the poster, and their expressions and tones change drastically. The one constant between the two of them is that they seem appalled at the idea displayed on the poster.
Performing? No way, I'm not doing that! Do you think it's that bad of an idea?
Yuri doesn't seem to have any response, and, at least for a minute or two, neither does Natsuki. Eventually, she lets out a frustrated sigh. She gives Monica a stern, fiery look.
Do you seriously think that any of us even want any new members? Like, I can't speak for Yuri or Hallie, but this club brought me something. Something that I won't let you take from me. If I wanted anything else, I would have just joined any other stupid club.
Natsuki doesn't say anything else as she holds her eyes shut. To say I'm shocked at what Natsuki said would be putting it lightly. As I look over at Monica and Yuri, I can conclude that their feeling is mutual. The four of us enter an uncomforting silence. The air conditioner seems a little bit louder today. I go to break the silence. Well, I personally think that...
No, Hallie. Natsuki's right.
Her voice slightly breaks as she says that, looking at me with an incredibly crushed look in her eyes. It's a sharp contrast to the confidence Monica always wore in spite of anything. This time feels different, though, almost as if Natsuki's words hit a little closer to home. Monica gives a shaky sigh before her eyes focus back onto mine.
Why did I think this was a good idea?
After saying that, Monica walks and slumps down at the front desk and puts her hands against her head as she starts to stare blankly at the table. Though she's silent, she's trembling ever so slightly. The rest of us fall victim to the silence from earlier.
Now you've done it, Natsuki.
Yuri directs disappointment in both her eyes and tone right at Natsuki.
Me? All I did was speak my mind. Is that a problem? I vanished. It's not about being honest. It's about word choice.
Natsuki goes to fight back, but relents after a quick glance over at Monica. I know the look on her face. It's one I grew quite familiar with. She's blaming herself. But before I can say anything, Natsuki has already gotten her bag and has stormed out of the classroom. Remembering our earlier conversation, I decide to follow after her. Natsuki, wait!
Why, Hallie? You saw the look on Monica's face. I caused that.
Natsuki once again gives me that same look of guilt. I try to open my mouth, but nothing comes out. More silence follows before Nat speaks up again.
I'm gonna go home. I just don't feel like I belong here right now.
And with that, Natsuki turns and starts going to leave. As much as I want her to come back, I'm not going to force her to do so. Chances are she'll be back tomorrow. After running my hands through my hair, I head back into the club room. Once I'm back in, I notice that Monika still hasn't moved from the front desk. Yuri, however, is pacing around the room, almost like she's pondering her next decision. As I shut the door behind me, Yuri's gaze locks onto me as I walk toward the center of the room. This way, Yuri stands on my left, whilst Monika stays on my right.
This is bad.
I look back at Monika. Her breathing is a little louder than usual. She appears stressed out, something that before now I doubt I've ever associated with Monika. I sigh, not making eye contact with Yuri. I know. I then hear gentle footsteps making their way towards me, causing me to look back. She looks right into my eyes, the mind hidden behind those deep lavender eyes, presumably working like clockwork, as she tries to find the words to say.
I do have to ask though, Hallie. What made you want to join this club?
The emphasis on the word you makes a personal question all the more personal. I think for a bit. To be completely honest, I hadn't really decided why I joined the club beyond the atmosphere being quite relaxed. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that it might just be a perfectly justifiable reason for wanting to join. A nice, quiet environment to cool off, relax, and maybe do a bit of reading. I'm certain most people would want that. With a sigh, I relay my thoughts back to Yuri, who just simply listens attentively. She's got a natural talent for that, I swear.
I feel the same way. I think I feel the same way.
She smiles with a thoughtful spark in her eyes. It's a spark that I don't usually see unless she's reading. I get why Natsuki's hesitant about new members, though. Like, who knows what getting new members would do for the atmosphere of the club. Yuri ponders this for a moment.
Like a quality over quantity sort of thing?
Yeah, sorta. I've only been part of the club for a couple of days, and I can tell everyone brings something special to it. I'm not opposed to getting anyone new, it's just...
Complicated?
I nod as Yuri completes my sentence. She sighs and relaxes her arms.
I think I understand. I usually prefer more relaxed environments that I can share with a friend or two. It might become a bit harder to manage with more members. Not to mention more people tends to lead to more conflict, which I'd be less than appreciative of.
You and I both. Yuri's eyes then focus in on me, piercing through my retinas. She's blushing faintly.
Besides, I just enjoy how the club is now.
Another brief moment of silence follows. However, this time there's this weird tinge of awkwardness to it all. The silence is then broken by the sounds of a chair moving against the wooden floor.
Hallie, Yuri.
Mine and Yuri's gaze, shared gaze, focuses on Monika, who wipes her eyes before continuing.
I know I'm asking a lot at the festival, and if you're not up for it, I understand. But regardless, just know I'm really glad to call you my friends.
She caps that off with an almost traditional Monika smile. Almost simply because there was this unshakable, somber aura to it. More than likely a sort of aftershock after what happened. Yuri and I look at each other as if we are telepathically deliberating.
Monika, Hallie and I had a discussion about it, and whilst we're both a bit unsure about new member, just one, I am still up for helping with the festival.
Same here. The smile on Monika's face tells me all I need to know.
Thank you both. I'm gonna finish things up a little earlier today. We'll start out the festival tomorrow.
And with that, Monika goes back to the front desk whilst Yuri and I start to pack up. After Yuri leaves for the day, I linger around in the club a bit. The room would be silent if not for the clock and the audible sound of Monika writing. Sorry, I had to wipe off my glasses. I think for a bit about whether I should ask Monika if she wants to walk back home together. I can't explain why, but Monika's initial reaction to Natsuki's words reminded me of the day Sayori told me about her depression. Just this expression of hopelessness. I walk up to the desk she's at and kneel down to her level. Hey, Monika?
Yeah?
She looks up to meet my gaze. Her eyes seem a little drained. I was just wondering. Come on, Hallie, keep it together. Would you like to walk home together? Monika smiles weakly.
I'd love to, but...
Her voice trails off as her gaze fixates on the small stack of paper beside her. School stuff? She nods, seeming quite down. I think a bit more. Tomorrow, maybe? She looks back at me, her smile returning once more.
If I'm free, then absolutely.
I smile back. That definitely seemed to cheer her up a little. I start to move towards the door, and once Monika and I bid goodbye to each other, I'm off back home.